dark for the moment. We're burning the midnight candle. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody got to do the Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all those wonderful moms that put up with us and didn't shoot us and kill us or strangle us. We definitely appreciate that, that's for sure. You guys know, as always, when we do our lives, which is Mondays are pretty quiet, so I guess you can always surprise me. Let me know that Monday nights do have a little action. What is going on in the hood? Let's see here. Just a little detour. No biggie. We're gonna go to the shop. Stop at a local pop store. Grab some little bit of water for the little cup because ran out, which is always nice. Hope everybody had a good Monday. Like I said, I'll be brief for a few minutes there. I won't be able to look at the comments because I'm going to dump something here. Dump a box. No tariffs. What are the tariffs doing? We going with tariffs or we going without tariffs? Trump, what are we doing? What are we doing? Making America great again. I see Tanner's in the house. Hope Tanner had a good day. I see Rusty's there too. Can't quite read the comments yet. We'll get to him. We'll get to him. We'll get to him at some point. Let's see. Which one do we want to steal? Let's steal this one. Yeah. Let's steal this one. It's always good to see. Make sure the gate's closed so the boogeyman can't get in there at nighttime. Yes, sir. The old shop looks like it's... Look at that little light. I always love that little light. I picked that out. We used to have a light like that up at the trailer. What do we got here? What do we got? Yes, buddy. Go out where it's a little brighter. Hopefully that was just dust. It's been pretty dry. So grab the tripod here for a second. Come out by the road. Got a little bit of light out here. Not a lot. Man, it's one of those nice nights though. Really nice nights. Drop our bin off. It's been a busy day. It's always good. Let's see if we can set you up here. Watch me work a little bit. Oh, maybe we'll get PT in the house. Nice to see old PT. Do have gloves. Lots of gloves. Gotta have gloves. Got those baby hands. Which way to go? Which way to go? Let's go this way. Get set up. I'm kind of glad the church, you know, I'm not going to lie. This place really makes you, it's a really good place to make you humble. Because, I mean, for one, you got the awesome neighbor. It's got the cool cars and all that kind of stuff, and E.T. and Batman stuff and all that stuff. But then you got the church. And it's nice that the church has been having the lights on. It really lights this place up around here. Now, on normal terms, it's not good because obviously Boogeyman's been doing bad stuff probably. But it's nice because you see, you know, it's no good to see a passing or a death. But when you see the hearse over there, you know, when you think you have a bad day, you can, you really start to think about things, you know what I mean? When you're really stressed out about work and stuff, and you look across there and you go, I'm still breathing air. I still get to go see my family. Guess it ain't all that bad, you know what I mean? So that's why I always say this place can humble you. Watch traffic for a second. We'll get in the light here in a minute. Let's oh shoot. Stay there. You're a little crooked. You're on tailgate. Sorry. I appreciate you guys hanging out for the brief minute there. We'll get back to our scheduled program here. Let's hop in the old truck and see if we get moved around. Oh, like I said, I'm surprised we even got, what do we got? We got 3 likes? Holy cow, I'm surprised we even got 3 likes since it's Monday night. Mondays are always like everybody, I don't know what it is about Mondays, but it's always like Mondays are the worst. Typically, it's like people are just, it's not like they're hungover, but it's just like Monday blues. Typically, that's what I noticed anyways, which I get it. You get back, you're trying to get stuff, you know, figure out the pecking order is what I always try to say. All that good stuff. We'll get up by the light. I don't know if we'll go in. If you guys want me to go in, we'll go in. We'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear. I figured that way with the battery. Luckily the battery's got full charge. I was kind of smart about it and said, we'll keep her charging today. We might still go in, see what's up. I don't know. Check out a few of the comments here for a second. Bada bing. Wow, it is an AI generator 5. Oh crap. Why'd it go to 0? Let me make sure I stay on the, better not hook up to the Bluetooth here. I could have problems. There we go. Setting aside by 4. Let's see, taxes. Rusty's got something in there. Our accountant's doing his job. Tanner, oh man, Tanner was first. Good job, Tanner. Way to be a hustler. I was here, but let you get in. Yeah. That's a good one. That's what a second place guy would say. You're close to Michigan, so you get the signal quicker. Oh, was it money? Just doing repairs? Yeah, shoot, man. It's all what you want. I mean, we got people around here that pick up doggy doo out of people's yards, you know, and make decent money. So yeah, there's money in repairs. It's just all what you do. Good question. It depends what skilled enough to not have callbacks. Oh, the callbacks. What's it say? Yes and no, depending on where you get your replacement parts and how many different door brand parts you can get. Most can be interchanged. You can't repair the door. Need to replace then what and what Rusty said. Yeah, I mean it's you know, it's kind of like when I talk to you guys about the whole when I'm always kind of like, you know, if you were just going to go out and do one thing, and it's like you just be the best of the best at spring replacement, you know, when broken springs come in. But, you know, every time I always kind of say that, I also go, that's kind of not realistic to have a full schedule, probably. It's not that you couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, because then I don't know if it's like you just have to be like the AutoZone Oaken Springs. Like everybody calls you, and then maybe you got like the best prices, you're the kiss. There could be a lot of variables in there, but then it comes down to, you know, when you get a day or two that you're like, dude, I got nothing. Like, what the heck am I going to do today? Well, that's when you start kind of, you know, you start letting a door come in. Well, I could do a door install. I could do an opener. I could do weather seal. I could do bottom seal. I could do jams. I could fix the jams up a little bit maybe, or this or that, or I could, you know, so I mean, that's why it's kind of like you kind of spread out. Oh, cousin Evan a long time ago seemed like he was asking, I think he was asking the question about why do you do like gates and, you know, and it is kind of there is truth behind that, where it's like, you know, you're trying to fill yourself up in a sense when you're starting out, right? So like for me, I mean, when I started out, heck, I did man doors. I did house residential walk man doors, service doors. actual service man doors, the metal ones. We were doing sliding doors like you'd see on box stores, like let's say Menards, or well, I don't know if Lowe's. I don't think Lowe's have automatic ones. That's kind of weird now I think of it. Do they have automatic ones? They do something, don't they? Yeah, they got the one sliders and stuff like that. So they do have some automatic sliding doors. So any shopping store, Walmart, we did a lot of those. Those sucked. Gates, garage doors. Get into the gutters. Should have gotten to the gutters. People are scared of heights. I guess it will don't have replacement on your truck. Ooh, yeah. Rusty's got a good point right there. Yeah, if you don't have the parts, man, that's why you got to have a really hefty service vehicle and everything set up. That's why I always talk about like you got to be a fireman. You know what I mean? Like, can't go to the fire without hoses and the right equipment and apparel, and you got to be the fireman, ready to go. Got my first first commercial job today. Ooh, nice. Hopefully you can I don't know if Evan, do you got your own account? Do you got a commercial account, whatever, you got your business account? So hopefully if it's in the name or just do it in your name, I'm just kind of curious on that. Because I don't know if you have your EIN yet. It works. You have to let me know. But that's cool, man. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Are you setting aside money for taxes? Nice. Evan drinks on Evan. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. It is pretty exciting. I do remember sometimes those days. It's weird now. Like, it's weird. You get when you get kind of old. Like unless a check's over $10,000, I don't get excited anymore. I know it's weird, but it's just when you start hitting up in the really big numbers, like, oh, sweet, that's a nice chunk of change, Every little bit helps. Every little bit makes, does do good. Oh, crap. I left a Pepsi. Oh, man, in the freezer? That makes a mess. Don't do that again. I like to keep... Was a Busch Light in the freezer just long enough to get icy? I think I got a problem. Oh, man. I just put it in my personal. Okay. That's fine. That's cool. Count, hopefully nothing goes wrong. I know see where that's it's kind of good because I worked with Caleb a while back ago, and that one there should be a video tomorrow being released. The one I worked with, that was a resi though, with some extension springs. But when we were at a commercial account that he did, I realized I was like, dude, I was tell him like right on the back of your slip, like your address. And he's like, well, kind of why? And I said, I don't know if they're going to cut you a check. I said, but the secretary, I said, for one, all these are flooding through my brain. That is honestly one of those things that you take so for granted when you've been running a business for years and you got the systems in place, and but I'm sitting there going dude, they don't know where to mail the check. As I need to get invoices with your address on them, and it might be better, honestly, just being an older man than I am, to possibly get a PO box, really, because people do some weird things. Customers especially. It's just so much easier to make it a PO box, and I know it's a pain in the hiney, and it probably costs a few dollars, but if you're in my brain, I sit here and I go, if you're serious about this and you're going to keep growing in this, I would probably do a PO box, because I just I don't need people randomly coming to my house if I'm working out of a house. And I don't need people people just do all kinds of things. Well, the post office doesn't work that good, which I agree. But the snail mail is what we call it. And they'll just come to your house, and it could be during the day. You know what I mean? Why do you want to have that on your camera? And you're like, why did this weird car come and knock on the door and look around the sides? And, was that a customer? Was that just some weirdo? Was that was that a utility company? It adds another layer of weirdness. I remember, instance, right? This is just a little story on a little Monday night here. I remember when I did a big commercial mall job. First time I ever, what do they call them? Like a security curtain, I think, or something like that. But anyways, it was like 30 foot by either like 8 or 10 feet tall. It's for, who was it for? It was for Kohl's. No, Yonkers. I don't even know if Yonkers is still around. They're not around here anyways. But Yonkers, the clothing store or whatever. And I remember, this big job, everything kind of started going to crap. We were supposed to do it a certain night just before whatever Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. And to get done with this job, I'm just totally so burnt out, so exhausted. All I got is youth on my side. That's the only reason I'm still had a pulse. And I remember the next day, my business partner didn't come in, another worker didn't come in. It's like everybody worked the night, you know what I mean? We worked till whatever, 3, 4 in the morning. It was like, the next day, I'm just there trying to get through a couple emails, answer a couple phone calls, just like basically telling people we're still alive, we're still in business, but today is not the day. Like we'll schedule. If you can't wait, call somebody else. And I had a few pieces of equipment I returned to save a few dollars. And I remember a guy down the road, because we had a commercial place right down the road. The dude literally comes in my back office of my house. It was a mud room, but I turned it into our office. This dude just coming banging through the door. And he's like, "Where the hell you been?" He's like, "I'm calling you all day." And I'm like staring at him. I'm like, "Dude, I'm so freaking tired now." And he's like, "We got a door down there that's got a cable off. We need it fixed." And I'm just like, go away. So I just put those little 2 cents out there because, like I said, it can get daunting. So anyways, you might want to get a P.O. box, just something to consider. What the hell is I'm hearing? It's like, is it like raccoons now? Or like, what is this? Dog barking? Somebody walking a dog? It's like this weird squeaky noise. Huh. I don't know. In USA, that's asking for audit and trouble. It says our tax codes must be different because when I called the other day, they didn't seem to think I needed the tax number or business number yet, since I don't have assets or something like that. Yonkers? Is that like Hooters? No, that's it was a clothing store if I remember right. It's just a clothing store. And it's like a big job, man. I told myself, I was like, if I could do 3 or 4 of those a year, that's all I'd have to do. Like that we made so much profit on that job. It was like I even like were on there because I asked the dude, I said, he's like, I got to get 3 quotes. He's like, you're my quote. And I was like, so that's why it was like perfect timing, right? So I told him, I said, well, I have no clue. I never done one of these doors. And I'm like, what did guys quote you? And he's like, I don't know, they're pretty much right around 40. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, there's a lot of work. We got to do it after hours. We got to cut drywall. We got to get there. You got to bring some heavy, a little bit of heavy equipment in there. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, 40, the price of the door. And the door's only at it's only at like 10 or 12. I'm like, what am I missing? The cost of this door is only like, 10 or 12,000. I'm like, there's a lot of money. So I started putting all the drywall and everything in. I'm still like 20,000 under the other guys. And I'm like, oh my God. So I didn't want to be greedy, but I didn't want to leave too much on the table because I thought maybe, because I was new too, I thought maybe I'm leaving something out. You know what I mean? Like I'm overlooking something that they seen that I didn't. And so, no, we got the job. And I was like, dude, if we could do like 3 or 4 of these a year, that's all we have to do. And we'd make as much money as we normally do through a whole year, for like profit wise. It was like ridiculous. Where the hell are these dogs coming from? It's like all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Freeze is here. What's up, Eric? I was just thinking about you. Howdy, everyone. If you are sure, go for it. He says, I don't want to get in bad side. I rest to make a quick buck. Yeah, Evan, it will change when you're the first 51st date. That's funny. It's one of those things too. We got 5 likes. Thank you guys for the like button too. Um, I'm kind of the polar opposite. You know, it, man, put that money in your pocket. I mean, look. If I mean, everybody just look around you. Look how corrupt and how much we're all slaves. I mean, look at the system, man. This money. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine we'd be how much of debt are we in now? Is it what 35,000 or not 35,000? 35 trillion. I mean, we can't. We sure as hell can't run our businesses like that. So, I mean, and here's the thing. What I've kind of a little bit, and this is what I've also told. I can't say who. I got. You know, I got. There's the big mafia, and then there's the very very teeny little mafia called Uncle Dave's Mafia. Um, um, I was telling somebody. I said, dude. I said, you ain't worried about too much. I said, here's the thing. I said, they want to go after people that got money. They want to go after people that got big bucks, lots of money in the bank account. And I said, of assets, because that's when you get screwed. Isn't it kind of weird when you think about it, right? Like everything we consume or we add into our life, or you get, like it makes you more like you're more at risk. You get the bigger house, you get the bigger building, and guess what? Somebody is just out there just waiting accident to sue your ass. I mean, it's just like it's so weird when you think about it. Where that's why sometimes, like for instance, like when I leased a vehicle, that was about the easiest time. Now a lot of people don't like to lease vehicles, but I tell you what, the miles can suck a little bit. So I'd go a little higher in the miles if you know it roughly in for miles. But that was the most easiest, squeeziest thing I've ever done with my accountant versus when I sit down with them and they forget to delete something out of the thing and they go, well, do you still got this 1997 Ford Ranger? I'm like, no. I'm like, we sold that 2 years ago. Oh, well, how much did you sell that for? Like, do I tell you a higher or lower number? And you use that against me? Like, well, that's considered, that's like a profit or something. Oh, okay. And so it seems like it just never ends, Do, 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 do. 50. Hey, Eric. Hey, Rusty. Seemed like a weird yellow light. Like, like when a car hits its like lock button. That was really weird to see over at the mechanics. Well, somebody over there screwing around. I know a few years back we had Cadillac converters doing the Houdini, and then I think a radio got stolen, which I don't hear too much of that anymore, but I'm sure it still happens. Evans, yes, that's our clothes. Lee Hawkers does not have the girls' outfits or wings. The wings! Forget the wings. It's like all kinds of craziness going on around here right now. There's a lot of state troopers. They're doing construction down the main road here. But it's just almost like the warm weather is bringing out the weird people. Like just the way people are kind of acting even yet tonight. Somebody was part of the church. Just, it's like people do weird things, man. What's to say here? Tanner, you might just be getting Alberta there. He just talks about them separating from Canada. Oh, talking to my vendor. I think I might got one of the last doors before the tariffs kick in. Oh, really? I tell you what, man, the whole tariff thing is really getting to be kind of annoying. it's like I feel like are we going? Are we not going? We're going, but now we're going. We're no we're not going. And it's like I guess what I just kind of look at it no matter what. I was kind of thinking about it today, and I thought, Mr. T, I like his intentions and stuff, and I do like him, for the most part. But I just keep going. No matter how I slice it or dice it, I go, you and me, we're gonna pay. We're gonna pay somehow, And I just I don't know what the system is that makes it where, just like I keep hearing about the Fed. Well, we're shooting for a 2% interest or target rate inflation. Bullcrap. They were so far behind. They're going to keep it high. And it's just going to keep the same or higher. You know what I mean? And it's just like kind of a bummer because inflation, man, it just seems like it keeps hitting and hitting. Eric says, I encountered some old genies, 80s, today, where the old ones were you put a button twice to close. Oh, interesting. They have one of the original remotes. Wow. Well, if you get a chance, you get bored, send me a picture. Shoot, email, text, all the good stuff. I got to see what's going on. I heard a lot of people are getting pulled over, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I think this is just an ambulance. Oh, I think maybe it's a fire truck. Maybe I can flip the camera around. Yeah, it looks like a fire truck. Sorry, my windshield's a little dirty. I got a little kid that when she was in my truck, we were just chilling in the shade. I noticed she was putting her feet on my windshield. That's all right. One day you'll miss it. They will have one of those originals. Let's see, Tanner. They start. This is Jules. This is a carry. This is but. If it happens, great. One step closer to getting you to the USA. That's right. That's right. Dave, your those bigger, especially jobs are where make the most profit. Yeah, it was a good profit job, man. I tell you. Like I said, looking back on it, but oh man, it was a stress. I mean, we had it. I had it planned for like 2 to 3 weeks. We get that door. It's so big. It's 30 some feet wide. That roll up curtain, and I had to go over to the neighbors. I had a bakery. I had to borrow their forklift. I had my forklift, but I was so worried if I picked that thing up in the middle, I was just gonna kink the whole thing. So they let us borrow their forklift. We had to get the thing off in the road because obviously not big enough. This dude's like, I was trying to see if a cop was following this guy. This guy's got like some barely any taillights on his trailer. But anywho, so we get this thing off. I put it in my yard. Yard's it's like 3/4 of an acre. It's not a very big yard. And I remember I get it in my yard, so it looked like goofy as goof on the side of my driveway. I'll wait for this to pass. This is another one of these. Here, I'll flip it around for you. For the entertainment. What was that? Is that an ambulance? I think it's an ambulance. It's not good. Not good, man. Bummer. Not good, man. People just... And so anyways, on the side of my driveway, I got this all planned out. I forget if it was like Thanksgiving or something, or I don't think it was really Christmas time. I think it was Thanksgiving, but they're supposed to have sale or something. Anyways, some reason at the last minute, the guy jumps on me, and I'm like, I called him. I'm like, doing my, you know how it is. Bad planning. What's that? What is that? That's just a volunteer, it looks like. Yeah, it's just a volunteer. Dang, man. They're all going, man. They all getting their paycheck. And so anyways, I got this thing planned. I already got the crew of guys planned. Now, this will work out perfect. We can do it on the weekend. And, of course, I wanted to do it on a Saturday because I figured if it was late Saturday, everybody at least got Sunday to sleep in and recoup, right? Something got shifted around, and the guy was like, either you can do it this day or you can do it in, like, 3 weeks. You know what I mean? When like Christmas or something. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, all right, no, dude, like I do not want this sitting any longer in my yard. I gotta write a check for this material here soon. I'm like, no, like we'll plan on doing it Sunday. And that just turned into, the skid broke on us that we used to lead up in the cavity. The guy comes in like after the skid break, how like everything compounds. So like the skid breaks. And I remember like the dude that I had there that was cutting up the old door out in the rain. Of course, it started raining. He's like, dude, I can't get the torch to work. And I'm just like, like you just kind of like, really? You dare come to me right now and ask that you can't get the torch to work? I know it works, dude. Like I tested it, I verified it. I got you full tanks. Like I'm like, that's fine. I was like, let's just go out there. I got like guys staring at me like, so what are we gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, that's why I brung 2 carpenters. I was like, I got a whole truck full bed of 2x4s. So build something. Not in a very good mood. I wasn't very nice. So So anyways, we figured it out, but we ended up damaging the bar a little bit. Not bad for what it was. It come crashing down. I had to bring a fork inside the building. So you can imagine you're driving a forklift. You know, it had to be electric one too, because you can't have gas in there. Ugh, stress. It's Papa Al Capone of the Surewinder Mafia. Yes, he is. He'll make you a deal you can't refuse. That's right. Holy cow, I see Mr. Tony. It's way past his bedtime. What's up, Mr. Tony? Hope times have changed, but it's hard to run a business with these prices. Oh man, no doubt. With the grass I mow side hustle, I've had to up my prices because I'm trying to afford a truck. Yeah, you ain't man. That's for sure. I'd still, you know, like I said, it's not a very good. I don't think it's a super lucrative time. You know, it's like that whole tree theory, right? It's always good to plant a tree, but it's you sure got to water it and give it a lot of fertilizer right now to keep it alive. You know what I mean? And that, you know, that's kind of what I always think about. Like, I should bring that up a little bit more often. I don't really talk about it too much. You know, I always like to think of like business in a sense, right? Business is like a garden, right? And you know, you can make the gardens big enough, you know, for just maybe yourself, you know, just for you to eat, or maybe for a couple of your family or something, right? Or you can make the garden bigger, right? Because now you have an extended family, you got employees, you got maybe whatever, some vendors that you know, whatever. And that's kind of what business is. So it's a lot of work. You know, there's a lot of things. You got to weed it. You got to water it. You got to nurture it. You got to make sure bugs don't get on it. That's what business always feels like to me. It's like a garden. You know what I mean? Then you got the birds. You got invasions, the government to, you know, you know, maybe, oh, then when they spray that stuff in the air, that helps it out, right? The chem with the little tails. Hey, Tony. What's up, Tony? Don't raise prices every year. A business owner, inflation comes straight out of your profit margin. That is true, man. It's crazy. I think that's why, for myself, right? That's why I've always kind of used that rule of thumb a little bit, because I feel like it's had a couple times, 2 or 3 times, maybe COVID, maybe just some other generic times in business. But so I always tell myself, like, I just go off the prices, just go out and double it, because it gets to be so cumbersome sometimes, especially running a business and you're out just doing the work yourself. So when you have customers call you and then they, you know, well, I'm just looking for a number. Well, you know what? I'll give you a number, you know, and you can call your vendor, and, you know, sometimes prices of things have kind of always felt somewhat in a nutshell, like scrap metal or gasoline. It's up, it's down, it's up. Most time it's always up, but you know, if you do price, there you go. That's kind of keep up kind of with inflation. You know, double it. You know, that's the price of the door. Take that. It's local. It's nothing crazy. Just double it, because that way, if the price has gone up, you know what? Probably labor's going up. Oh man, that tastes good. Exactly, Rusty. The times have changed, man. However, like I said, I was watching a really good video today of talking about kind of, you know, that whole, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have people in your life, but I've got a few, you know, and you know, it's one of those things like, hey, I know we got a lot of lazy people in the world, but I also look at things and I ask myself all the time, I just go, man, I don't want to turn into that crutchy old man that's just like, you know, well, you just need to get out there and you need a worker. You know, well, that sometimes doesn't cut it. You know what I mean? Like, you almost have to be more efficient. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like even in the garage door business, right? I've always had, you know, well, you want to make more money? Well, you raise your prices. Well, you can there's only so much you can do. There's only so much of a C you can hit. You know, I mean, we just can't charge, you know, 3 million for a spring change. We're not there yet. You know, it's just not realistic. So there's a threshold. So then it comes into, well, but if you go there and make 2 or 3 or 4 trips because you forgot your nuts and bolts, you know, the hammer, you forgot this, well, you know, stuff can get eaten up real fast. So it's, but right now with the economy, you know, I might have to sneeze, apologize. But you know, I really feel like, you know, for this younger generation stuff, you know, we got quite a few younger lads, you know, young adults on my one side of the family, and yeah, you know, we got a whole range from uh, you know, served in the military, uh, and these kids are like, you know, one's, you know, I think a couple, you know, like, you know, working at just, you know, UPS stores and UPS, and I mean decent, not like they're just running out to buy houses, you know what I mean? It's like, and I can't blame them, you know, and it's not like, you know, they're signing up for brand new cars, and you know, like when I heard, you know, my, I think it was my stepdad was always telling me, I think he paid right around about $3,000 for a GTO, a Pontiac GTO, 1968 or something like that, 67. And I'm like, dude, you know, and it's like, but if you do the ratio, well, yeah, I was only making $1.15 back then. Yeah, but when you do the ratio, it's like when they always run the ratio on it, it's just, it's, you know, and nowadays, well, yeah, you know, you think about, well, you buy a car, you know, house, it's much, then try to put insurance on that house, then try to pay the property taxes on that house, because now the, you know, it gets to be, it's pretty overwhelming, you know, and then you try to buy food, it's a lot. And so one guy I listened to, you guys probably never heard of the Cantillon effect, but you know, they they talk a lot about how we have to lower, you know, we're going to have to lower our living standards, which a lot of Americans don't believe in, do not want to do, and I get it, you know what I mean? It might be par for the course, you know what I mean? Because you know, I just don't know how much more stuff can sustain. Exactly, Rusty. I live a block away from hospital. I'm used to hearing sirens. Oh yeah, used to hearing sirens. Shoot, yep. Dave, we did an R12 16 by 7 and opener today. Cost me $14.50 in materials. It covered my hourly, charged another 52. Should been more for the extra time to the back hangs around the bulkhead. Ooh, the bulkhead always get you. Yeah, I know. When you were talking about that R12, supposedly the builders around here, I guess R12 is the minimum. Because the one that was giving us a little bit of grief about our prices was saying something about, you know, he goes, I don't care if he says if you got to find a different vendor. He's like, but it was like, you know, whatever. I think he said, you know, he said you were $4,000 higher than the other company. And I said, oh, and I was kind of like surprised it wasn't 10. And you know, but we might be on back with him and say we might end up just doing more like 5 Mile Famous, because he's been stretching out. I think I this is I normally I sit down with lunch once in a while with him. I haven't done it in a while, but normally I'll ask him what the, you know, he's normally got a pretty good read on the economy, but I don't think it's going gangbuster, you know, with the new builds. We just even had a company. I guess they were having problems with the township and EPA and something. They built this huge docking marina. And I guess the CEO stepped away and got some weird letter in the township and was trying to, you know, ask the state to bypass something. So I was like, wow, I was like, that's interesting. I was like, obviously things are not going smooth sailing out there. SOS, he said, just release the price on value and profit, not title on site. Only got halfway through. Oh, shoot. What's it say? Dave, how do you feel about Clopay? How do I feel about Clopay? Well, let's see. Good question. Clopay's got a lot of options. There's no doubt about it. So I mean, if you need somebody that's gonna do a lot of options, especially if you're into like the wood grain or maybe black doors, you know, with aluminum and the view glass, you know, Clopay can do a lot of that. You know what I mean? You know, the one that at least comes to our shop, the truck is always really organized, really well packed. We normally don't get damaged. stuff from Clopay. Now, sometimes, at least with our vendor, the track is sometimes a little goofy. Like, it's kind of like sometimes it's like they got that weird bug in them where they slap something together and you like try to do your vertical to your horizontal. More on commercial, not so much residential. Residential is pretty down to a pat. But it's like, what the hell is this? Like why were they, why did they do this? You know what I mean? Fire truck's going back. Done. But so and typically everything through Clopay, their openers, their doors, everything is about I don't want to say they're the top price, but they're half price. You know what I mean? They're right up there. They're not our cheapest vendor by any means. They typically take the longest for us. They like to come about every 2 weeks. I think they actually moved it up to I think a week now. So they'll do it in a week. They moved us for for whatever reason, God bless them. They moved us to a different location, and so it's a bigger facility in a sense, which is kind of nice. But nobody here definitely jumps up and down about them. They normally their springs for some reason don't balance out that well. They just kind of like do the job. You know what I mean? And I think they have different versions. That's the way I kind of have them. You can kind of, they obviously make ideal doors for yards, and that's their very obviously very low budget door. So, but they do the job. I mean, if you said, would you rather do Wayne Dalton or Clopay? I say, well, I definitely do Clopay. You know what I mean? Like, cause damn bottom seal. I can't stand those bottom seals on the Wayne Daltons. Um, and so like Wayne Dalton though, like Wayne Dalton's like when I think about Wayne Dalton, I love Wayne Dalton for their packaging. Like their 9,000 series doors. Like when you're trying to be like super efficient, the price is pretty decent. Is it the greatest? No, not by, you know what I mean? It's not very good quality. But if you're dealing with somebody that's like flipping homes, or you're just on speed, like I like the Wayne Daltons for that. I loved everything being, especially the total packs. I love the total packs. Like Torque Masters and stuff like that. Yeah, they suck for later on. For spring snap. Loved like when I was growing the business, and like I had to deal with employees and I had to deal with subcontractors. I love the fact that I grabbed 2 boxes, I whipped it in the back of their pickup truck, and I said, "Sayonara, have a good day." The only thing I had to watch was sometimes they put the weather seal in the boxes, sometimes it was separate, loose, but it was normally in a bag. So Wayne Dalton was great. The 9,000 series doors, they don't do that with the 8,000 series. Yeah, they don't do total packs, as far as I know. But Clopay, like I said, they got a lot of options. So I mean, if you're in an area that needs somebody jamming, damn, man, welcome to Muskegon, and but oh, there's a dude walking over there. What is that dude doing? The dude better not be over there screwing the cars. I just seen somebody walking over that mechanic shop. I went behind a tree, so I can't see him. They're pinching. Now he's walking this way. Let's say he's got a dog. That's weird. We might have a visitor. God, I hope it's not somebody on drugs. Looks like a girl walking too. Oh man. I was probably gonna come see if this vehicle's great. Well, if I get murdered, guys, it's been fun. Great between. Wow. This lady, like, literally, you can't see it behind me, but literally, you can't, she's in the dark. It's like literally walked. I thought she was gonna walk between me and the building. She's over there just talking to her dog. Don't walk away, whatever. I don't know what she's doing. She looks like she's on something. And so, released a video. Let's see here, Dave. How do you feel? You may have to call the cops. Dude, you never know. You never know. I had to finally put up, you can't see them, but I got these signs. You know, it's one of the things, right? You accumulate more in your life, right? So we got the property, and I mean, we just get cars randomly dropped right in the middle of the driveway. It's like, are you? They don't, people are just so dumb that they don't even put like a note. Just put a damn note in the window. Scratch it on an envelope. Scratch it on something. You know, I don't care if you take lipstick and even put a phone number on the side of the car. You know what I mean? But they would like literally like, you know, you know, just leave a car parked in the middle. It's like, dude, we got semi trucks coming here. We can't do that. Get some install a gate. Yeah, Rusty says get a gate. Well, I got the whole fence line here, so we're pretty good. Our one gate could use a little more attention. I could make it so you can't really walk in there. That is good. And this gate I guess is unlocked. We used to actually put a we still got it there to lock up the gate so people can't. It's just we haven't, you know how it is. You get kind of complacent. You haven't had no problems, but obviously we should. You know, it's better to be preventative maintenance or be ahead of it versus behind it. But yeah, just people, man. It's like the warm weather. Oof. Dave, you need blowhorn just off my lawn. Get off my lawn. Yeah, there you go. Something, man. I wasn't expecting that. That was weird. I was like, oh, it's a dude. And I was like, no, that's a girl. Hopefully she don't come back because I know exactly how this goes. It's better just to, you know, just mind your own business, because if you say anything, it'll turn into, oh, well, hey, do you actually have a couple bucks? You know, my boyfriend just kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. And, you know, I really need a pack of cigarettes. And then, you know, well, you know, could I get a ride? You know, and it's, come on, man. I don't want to deal with that crap. Rusty says, I don't think my glass doors would be good in your neighborhood. Window shoppers. Hell no. Like I said, you know. And it's kind of weird because, like I said, sometimes it changes. You know what I mean? Because we got we kind of use, you know, you got Safeway, you got, you know, Wayne Dalton Clopay. I mean, you know, our prices can vary on certain products. You know, like you can normally have a pretty good line with somebody, and then it's like, you know, you kind of get those one-offs, maybe a full view glass, and you're like, you know what, we'll call another vendor. And I mean, we can find a vendor sometimes that's like, you know, it's like $1,200 cheaper, and it's like, whoa. So you know, sometimes it's kind of nice to kind of shop around a little bit on certain stuff, you know what I mean? Things can change, different options. Window, Rusty, I thought you frost mirrored. Ooh, the mirrored. It's a good idea. The mirrored ones are nice. I'm thinking we got this roll-up door that was free. And I keep going, man, if that roll-up door breaks one day, I always wonder if what are we gonna do? Just replace the spring, replace the roll-up door, put a sectional door in. It's kind of tight in there now. It'd be hard with all the track and stuff up in there. At night, is there light inside you can see in? Oh, you can see in your shop. Oh. Rusty, do you got cameras? Do you got cameras at your shop? You probably don't need to. I think you're kind of out. You're out a little ways from the city. That's got to be some of the best things that we ever did. I'm gonna walk to check out the old scrap. Get to it before Eric, because I'm just curious myself. Let's just see what's going on. Take my keys with me, because we got I brought my flashlight. We got the boogie man walking around here. Boogie woman with her dog. I don't know where she went, man. She was like literally just like walking. Like, I was like, is she seriously gonna go between me and that building? Would not surprise me. Oh, good morning, man. Time to get to work. Checks are good. Eric, tell me what's a good TV, man. We got to buy one. I thought I had one that's way too big. What's a good one? Is it Panasonic? I thought Panasonic was okay, but you said no. Not too much change in here. Got a couple openers. I forgot about that too. That customer's gonna need those openers. I think I'm gonna have to cut right down. Let's go check out the scrap. Multi-code? Some multi-code. Yummy. Look at that good stuff. Oh. Ooh, love some multi-code. Yeah, better let this lock behind me in case our wonderful comes by. Wow, it's a really nice night out. Great night for a walk. So everything's doing pretty solid here. Check around. Definitely got some tree work today. Well, we got tree work that needs to be done. Cool. That's cool. Of course, we're still down one scissor lift because one's still at the builder that wanted stuff right away. Hurry up and wait. It's supposed to be this week. We can wrap it up. Let's see what the old scrap hopper says. It looks like somebody cleaned out a rental, and there ain't really too much. Ooh, pot and pans. I don't know why the garbage was in there. I don't know if I'd consider it. Gotta wash that. Don't make the what you call it. That jack's seen some better days. I swear that. Did I used to have that jack? I can't remember. I don't know. Those jacks are from what do you ever really them from Harbor Freight? They bend. They can bend. That one looks bent too. I don't know. I thought I got rid of one time because it bent, but fan. I don't see much else here. A little bit of tin work. Oof. Roofing stuff. It's kind of the pros of having, a scrap hopper and garbage. It's just a nice perk. It's a nice perk to have when you're doing whatever. You got rentals and stuff. I mean, somebody else looks like they must have cleaned out, man. I got all kinds of garbage. It's all good. Might as well use it. It's been empty lately. It's not been too much. We normally get hit once in a while when we got a lot of cardboard on a job. Just checking out a few things. Oh, I should see. I don't think there's a big morel guy. There was a morel mushroom. My cousin is. I was going to tell him, come over, get that. That thing's huge. But maybe somebody else swiped it or got knocked over or just went bad. Oh, poor thing died. Yep, darn it. Dang, that went to waste. It's crusty. Did not last long. Bummer. All right, let's see what we got here. What's Rusty got? Night inside Eric seen them. Our auto. What is it? What is it? Auto? Is that turtles? Legal in Michigan? What the hell are those? Duh. Those doors are cool. I got to send you a video I took of them. He says, Dave, heck yeah, do it up. People in our area in town don't listen to rap. Crime is low. Non-existence, that's nice. Well, it's probably one of those reasons why we live in different demographics too, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's like, it's just goofy, you know what I mean? Like, we just don't have that option around here where, for pricing and everything else. Oh! Excuse me. Doo-doo. What do you think, Eric? Do you got a particular door that you like too, brand-wise? Evans, guys, is Dave might need to pay ICE agents to hang out. Yeah, shop overnight. Yeah, like I said, it's not too far away. It's probably, gosh, what is it? I don't know, maybe about 5 miles or so. We get the Heights is kind of it's a mini Detroit. It's just a bad area, man. There's a lot of, it was funny because, what was it? The Whitetron did something, and I think she was talking to another mom, and she told me that mom was telling her, she says, they're doing some kind of event, right? And they were trying to get pizza delivered. He said they none of the places will deliver to that area. And I was like, no way, right? Because my business partner years ago, he's telling me that he's like, dude, we just, tell him we don't serve it. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, I don't know if you can. I'm like, you can't do that. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And we have kind of went down that path a little bit, where that's why sometimes I'm always telling you guys about like the phone and stuff. Like, don't feel pressured, right? It's one of those things. You are running a business. You are in control. Yes, you got to be nice to the customer and all these say, kiss my hiney, I'll find somebody else or whatever. But if you don't know, don't lock up. Just say, let me see what our schedule's like. Can I call you back in 10 or 15 minutes? And just make sure you do. But, you could check address or check an area, or just, I always try to get their address, right? Because why am I wasting my time? First thing I'm always do, I'm like, what city are you in? Because if they tell me they're in a city that's, whatever, an hour away, then don't even waste my time. We even have this phone conversation. It's happened. TCL, get a TCL. I might have to look them up. I wonder if you can just order them online, like Amazon, or if that's like you got to go to a special place to get TCL, or I'll look into it though. Appreciate it. Dave, do you ever come into the shop and changes when everyone says, do you ever, when they're gone? There isn't really much for me to do. When nobody's around. I most of the time don't come in during the day. If I do, I just have a little, it'll be a little chit chat here and there about something, or if somebody has a question or something like that. But for the most part, I just kind of stay out of the way. You can sometimes waste a lot of time. There's not that it's bad, but you can really spend a lot of time sometimes talking about stuff that's redundant, about things. Tanner probably knows. What kind of cheese are you referring to, Rusty? Hiding the toilet. Is that toilet paper? Looks like a roll of toilet paper. I wonder if that fan works. Ever considering open another location in wealthier area? Boy, that's a good one. I don't think so. It's kind of difficult, right? That's always kind of a subject, right? Because it's one of those things. Like, it's why I always talk about, we got to make money, right? And typically most of us make active. We have to get up every day. We have to turn a wrench. We have to go to work. We have to drive somewhere, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't discourage that by any, like that's a good thing. But it's kind of like I don't know how to even explain it. It's kind of like tasting like sugar or having a candy bar for the first time. It's such a different experience. So my passion now is like I really enjoy helping people. You know what I mean? Like it's like that teacher part that I never got to do, in a sense, where it's fun. And that way, hopefully I don't have to go and make as many boos and screw ups as I did. But most of you guys know, obviously, I'm big into real estate. So the real estate is kind of where most of my money and, the thing with that is obviously, it keeps compounding and it creates generational wealth. What I look for, you know, and so it's kind of hard to pull now. Potentially if like maybe like or something wanted to or some, I would be more willing to listen to something like or entertain possibly, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot to run a business, a location, and to get the right people and to make everything kind of work. um, I've always been more interested in even in like the franchise a little bit, but there's lawsuits and stuff that are involved with that, and you gotta have a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff involved. Where, um, how do you explain it? Probably like if you were an investor in like stocks, I think stocks are about the only one that I really know. Maybe that's like pretty much mostly passive income. Nothing's really like 100% passive income, but stocks and stuff are for the most part. But you know, investing is it's very crucial, very crucial. Hell, I wish I would have even started at a younger age sometimes. But no, no, not really, not right off the top of my head. I don't really, Mesquite or not Mesquite, but Michigan's kind of a real. It's got pockets. I don't want to say it's all, but it's just it's got pockets. Says CHI. I like the CHI. I never minded CHI. I used to do a lot of Pandoras for a lot of what do you call them? Like subdivisions, condo associations, or whatever. CHI was always pretty decent. I hear a little bit of flack about them out there. I think they had some DLAM problems or something like that, but I don't know. I've used a few of them. We had a vendor we had to get parts from. I also like to get old TS200. Clope is pretty cool. Like the Midland, have issues with them. Safeway is okay. I don't know how I feel about Haas and North Central. Ooh. Do. Yeah, Haas, my only problem was with their bottom seal. The bottom seal is plastic. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's kind of an automatic buzz killer for me. Do I train the new guys? Nope, not typically. It's a couple other guys that'll do it. We're fortunate enough we don't really have a lot of turnover, so so that works out pretty good. But I will jump in. I know there's a few times, Cap wanted me to for a couple, and I don't have a problem if they need it. I'm just kind of a filler. If something pops up or somebody, two people are going on vacation or something, I'll jump in and take lead. Pretty sure NTS, NT or NFTS are passive. Yeah, that it's just over the years. And like I said, I'm not going to say, I'm an expert on it, because I definitely am not. But I just, when it's like, sometimes I feel like people use that word too loose, and they go, passive income. And it's like, yeah, well, like, like doing rentals or doing estate and stuff like that. I'm like, it ain't like a passive out, like you just sitting around doing nothing. But there is at least 25 or 50% or 75% of the times that it is just generating on its own. And, as I've gotten older, the like I'll give you some examples, because we're on the Monday night special. It's tough buying brand new vehicles and watching the paint fade away, or the tires get weather check, or scratches and dents get put into them, or the salt's eating them away. It's really tough. And it's like right now we're in a kind of a pickle, right? I mean, I would love to see money to be deployed, and it's there, and it could easily be done to possibly get a new service vehicle. But the times that we are in right now, I sure as hell don't even know what the hell I'd pick. As far as I know, the Chevy Express is probably the least dirty shirt in the dirty laundry basket, but I think they're coming. Either they're going to have the 8-speed transmission or they're going to have the 10-speed transmission, which I hear they're having problems with. And the crappy part, you just never know what the future is going to hold. Like, we were lucky, we were fortunate enough. I mean, even Cap was mentioned that he said, "Wow," he goes, "Man, we're really lucky that we got those new vehicles in, that we have them right now. That when the cough syndrome was going around, because right, you know how it was. I'm sure it was the same for you guys too. You go past a dealership and it's like there was only 3 cars in the whole dealership when there was hundreds, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do?" Um, and then now it's all saturated, but it's like, what do you buy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want a transmission puking out at 40 or 60 or 80,000 miles, and these new modern transmissions are very expensive. I mean, they're not $2,000 to $4,000 anymore. That we're talking, $6,500 and that's a big chunk to bite off. When you at least think you should probably get 120 plus or 150 at least or more with good service, but they're designing this stuff so bad now. It doesn't matter even if you're servicing it. It just they're going bad. So I mean, when I was talking to the mechanic down at the shop, and I don't know much on them, like the Ford Transits, he says that we have a gas company, and he goes, "Do we do their whole fleet?" And he goes, "Every time they come in here, he's like, it ain't for a brake job." He goes, "Either for a motor or a transmission." He says, "Sometimes both." He says, "But one of the," I don't think he said both, but there's always one of the two. It's either transmission or it's the motor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's not what you want to hear. And they buy newer vehicles, they're the big, they get probably government subsidies. Have to ask if I can still purchase a Pandora up here, he says. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. That seems weird, dude. That's weird that you can't get a Pandora. That's really weird. Good night, Mr. Eric. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the input on the headache from allergies. Oh man, we got pollen. I can see it on the rooftops. A lot of pollen. Should sleep vending machinery is example of passive. Yeah, the vending machines. Yeah, semi passive. You know what I mean? You got to go fill them up still. On 24, 22 Chevy, paid off this year. Ooh. Yeah, exactly. Rusty's got it right. So break soon. Yeah, that seems like as soon as you're done making payments, it's like you're into, oh my gosh, it needs a transmission or something's knocking or, the rear end's making a weird howling noise. It's like they got it that what do they call it? The planned obsolescence or whatever. So I move. Rusty or Dave, can you buy my business? Can you buy my business from me? Maybe worth something in a couple years. As Dave is closer. Yeah. Like I said, you could always. It's it's really cool to have. Honestly, it's really cool to have Evan here because you get the bits and pieces on the other side, and his prices are so much, right? That makes you go, oh my gosh! But you know what's really funny about it? Think of how high American prices are to other countries. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just, it's kind of like I've always told myself this, right? So for many years in the beginning, right, we started out with a few pickup, 2500s, Dodge, and then F-150 heavy duty, and then we went to the era of Ford Rangers, right? And the Ford Rangers were very cheap to maintain. They were very, pretty good on the fuel. And then times got better, yeah, but then we started hauling bigger stuff, more scissor lifts, more commercial, heavy duty stuff, and more employees. And we just like, we just need one vehicle that does it all. It can be residential, it can be commercial. But I always think of that era that we took for granted, that now we got these gas guzzlers, you know what I mean? And, but back then, oh my gosh, gas was $5, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, but even when it's still, 280, 325, that's still quite a bit, and it's like, you just don't even, but it doesn't hurt enough to recognize it. So it's kind of like that whole, was it the frog in the boiling pot water, You know what I mean? It's kind of like what we all live in. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. So, you know, it's easy when I see Evan, he'll send me a price on an opener or something like, oh my gosh, you know, it's ridiculous. The houses are ridiculous. And then, you know, and it's funny because I've heard, not through Evan, but through other guys, you know, some of their pay is very similar to here, but yet their prices are so much higher. That's like, what's going on here? You know? So it's just, it's crazy, but it's just like for us, you know, if we had cheaper housing and stuff, we'd be living like king. Um, it's only worth money if you show profit. Taxes. Yeah, Rusty's got that right. That is true. That's why it's always a double-edged. You know, if you keep showing always, you know, nothing, 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 well then it's, you know, it's not going to look good for if you want to get a loan or on the business or anything, you know. So it's weird as you get older, man. I tell you, it's like you realize how the system is rigged. You know, like it's like, wow, they really got this figured out, and probably not for your benefit. I was popping pills over weekend because my brother-in-law has a full. It says 4 babies. I only nephew baby. I've been really getting over it. I've had a horrible sinus thing going on. I still got it in the left nostril, but at least now I'm losing some of the brain fog because, wow, it was bad. All right, we won't stay on here too much longer. Let's see here. Gas doesn't matter to me. On the credit card gets paid without me seeing the monthly expenses until quarterly profit and losses. Yeah, it's easy. Like I said, to slap on a card and stuff, you know, and away you go. But you know, when you're first starting out, you know, like I said, it was you know, gas was a big. Like I said, I used to have a 100 gallon fuel tank in the back of my pickup truck, my kind of my personal one, that I was literally going down to Speedway. I'd fill it up. I'd wait for gas prices normally to be down, and then I'd get points. And I was averaging at least $100 or more, 100, $200 a month. Remember in free fuel from Speedway, and I'd fill up. I had another tank. I'd fill up at the house that everybody could use. So I was like my reserves, and you know. But then times change. You know, you're just like strapped. You're like, man, I don't have time for this anymore. Like, you need to go down and fill up your own vehicle. You know. But then when we went to fuel cards really suck because the problem was that if people don't enter them in right, that gets them screwed up, or they take them home and them like they shouldn't be, or they you know, you're with the wife and it's like, why was there a fill up in, you know, in California? And you're, what? Like, you know, there's no way, you know. And it's like, on whose card, you know? And there's always this babysitting effect. Oh, they drive vehicles? A couple do. They'll drive the work vans, but another couple stay here. You know, like, it just depends. Like, one of them was okay to do it, but they take I believe a kid in the morning to daycare, so they just like their personal vehicle. If they've been here long enough and they're reputable, I never have a problem with it. And why not? You know what I mean? That way in the morning you're scraping off one vehicle, you're firing up one vehicle, getting it warmed up, all that good stuff, you know. But when you're first starting out, it's a real pain in the hiney. You know, you really, you know, people, there's a lot of people that take advantage of it. You know, they're using stuff, they're doing stuff on the weekends. You know, they're taking material. That's why, like I always say, there's a lot of layers to this, you know, in the business. And, you know, I personally love the rentals so much more because, for one, I don't care if they're in there, if it's one of them that that we allow them to. I don't care if they're in there smoking. I don't care if they're in there sleeping. I don't care if they're in there playing with their butt cheeks. You know what I mean? Long as you pay your rent. And what is your rent? Your rent is what you paid last month, and what's going to be next month the same. You know what I mean? Where in business you have so many more, you know, variables with remotes. Somebody pinched a garage door opener. Somebody dropped one. Now in the rentals, you know, you always, you know, yeah, you can always get. But the beautiful part about a lot of it is it's like you're never under a threat. That's what I like. You know what I mean? Like you just never, um, you know, when they call you or something, they say, "Hey, we got a hot water tank that went." You know, what do you have somebody or do you want, you know, the property manager? And you're like, you know, you're like, just, you know, but it's like, I've never had to this day, I've never had anybody ever call, say, if you don't get somebody out here within 2 hours, I'm packing my crap up and I'm leaving. You know what I mean? But in this place right here, I've had many of people that, you know, if I can't get out there within an hour or two or three, I'll just call somebody else. You know, I'm going to keep checking around. Well, of course, you know, and you might even have the best price. You might be, you know what I mean? But that's, you know, I'm busy helping another customer, so I can't, you know, where with the rental, you know, like I said, it's just, yeah, you get some people that trash or they're not, but that's like nothing. You know what I mean? Because they always sign up for a year. You know what I mean? And mine will stay a lot longer. So it's just it's like never, it's like it got something that's going up in value. You know, it's not like a truck where you're driving it and it's going down. The rent, ours vary anywhere from about 12 to 24, you know, a month. Just depends on the location of the house. That's another thing. That's what's kind of nice about our area, is that we do kind of have, you know, we can kind of get closer to our mini Detroit. And, you know, there was one I was just, I was going to send it to Kayla. The house it was already gutted. It's not, you know, it's not in a great neighborhood, but it's kind of right in the outskirts, you know, and it's 40,000. I was like, dude, this is what you need to pick up. Like, this is easy. Throw some insulation in, slap some drywall up, you know, kind of do whatever you want. It's got good bones. So they already, you know, somebody put a new roof on it. Siding stuff, whatever, you can paint that, you know, no big deal. But you can buy pretty affordable in our area, in certain areas. But we still have all of our 3, 4, and then depending if you get to Lakeshore, those are the, you know, 1.2 to 2 point or 6 mil. You know, if you get some fancier stuff on the Lakeshore. Two universities with 5 miles. Oh, universities, yeah, yeah. And like those are nice to do. You know, possibly there's like a lot of events, so if people do like Airbnbs, that's a good one too. You know what I mean? I don't like dealing with the Airbnbs. I them a little bit, but I don't like to have to always babysit them, you know, and make sure the wood's stacked for them, or, you know, that doesn't entertain me. You know what I mean? It's just too much turnover. Yeah, it's better up front, but I like slow and steady. That's what I like. You know, just slow and steady. Just keep putting a little bit of money here, put a little money there, and it just keeps growing like a tree, nice and slow, like an oak tree. You know, good roots, uh, good foundation, nice strong trunk. You know, very high quality. All right, guys, I probably should get out of here because I know it's Monday and everybody's got to work. So remember, keep your fingers. Thanks for watching, and yeah, if you come across anything, let me know. Let me know. Otherwise, have a good night. Safe out there. And keep make that baby money. We'll see. There we go. Try again.